What I've got here is the GoPro Hero 8 Black. This has actually been out for a few weeks now. It retails at around £380 in the UK, around $400 in the USA. And what I would like to do in this video is unbox it, show you the device itself, show you the interface and how it works and talk about its features, and then get out and record a few clips. Now, please do not consider this a full review. Consider this a first impressions because I've not spent weeks or months with this to test what I like and what I don't like. And having owned previous versions of the GoPro and other action cameras, I know that opinions can change over time once you record more, play around with it more, etc. So please consider this a first impressions. So I will be recording all of this footage at 1080p 60 frames per second just for consistency so that I don't have to scale any clips down and try and change any frame rates. Everything will be recorded at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So without further ado, let's get this opened. So here is the GoPro Hero 8 Black. This is how GoPro always package up their cameras. I'm not a huge fan of these boxes, if I'm honest. They look nice in a shop, all presentation wise, but they always end up like that. So if you're sitting it on your shelf, it just looks, it looks kind of silly. I'd rather they just used a box which could be packaged back up again. But there we go. So I'll get this open. Okay, so let's just have a quick look around the box here. You can see the new feature there being promoted, Hypersmooth 2.0, which will give you better stabilisation. At the front you can see that it says 12 megapixels for photos. You've got 4K 60 frames per second. Now it is worth noting that the 6 and the 7 had that as well. It is waterproof down to 33 feet, which is 10 meters, and it says 1080p live streaming. Now, I haven't tested the live streaming. I won't be testing it in this video. I'm hoping that it's good, but I will say that in the past it was really bad. That's all I'll say about that. So yeah, you can see some of the other features in the back here. Live burst, super photo, raw, GPS, 8 times slow-mo, 1080p at 240 frames per second. That's how you get the slow motion, 8 times. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So at this point, what I'd like to do is just open it up. So this is the GoPro Hero 8 Black, and this is how they always present their GoPro action cameras. So what you have to do is just untighten this from the GoPro mount. When this is off, you can then take it out, like so. So this is the camera, and right away you can see one of the coolest new features of it is that it's got a mount built into the bottom now. You can see it there. So you can hold it like that, but this flicks up the standard GoPro mount. Now that's actually quite significant because normally, if you look at the GoPro Hero 7, you can see that you have to put it in this case. It's the only way to attach it to a tripod, to your car, to anything really. This is the mounting system that they use. And now they have built it directly into the camera. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's have a quick look at what else is in the box before we look at the camera. So I've zoomed down a little bit, but I've got everything in the shot to show you exactly what you get inside the box. You can see here that you get this safety instructions book, which is, let's be honest, pointless. No one is going to read this despite being in about 50,000 languages. Promotion for GoPro Plus. Unlimited cloud storage of your GoPro footage. Needs help? Go to gopro.answers. Caution, your GoPro's door is removable. Right, okay, I'll show you that later. We've got the standard GoPro stickers, which they always give you. Then they've got a little diagram here showing you how to charge it, how to switch it on, how to attach it to the mount. Then it's got a promotion for the GoPro app, which let's be honest, isn't the best app in the world. It's okay from time to time, but it's not something I would advise using. Okay, let's go into the good stuff. We've got a USB Type A to Type C cable. This is quite short, but it's quite thick and is branded with the GoPro logo. You should be able to see that there. If I put my hand over it, it will focus. You can see there, GoPro. We've got the mount there. That's what that diagram was referring to. You can put this on a table, on a helmet, on anything really, and you can mount your GoPro to that. You've got the battery, and the GoPro Hero Black range does allow you to replace the battery. It does allow you to switch them around, something which the lower price white model doesn't allow you to do. Quite funky with the blue there. Obviously, you do have the mount as well, which you can use to attach to any kind of attachment. For example, later on, if I'm going out in the car, I can attach the GoPro Hero 7 and the 8, if I can get it, GoPro Hero 7 and the 8 to a mount. And when it's attached to something like that, that's when you secure it like that. That's effectively how it works. So what we'd like to do at this point is compare the features between the GoPro Hero 8 Black and the GoPro Hero 7 Black, because the design of the GoPro hasn't really changed over the last few years. The 5, 6 and the 7 basically just look the same, but the GoPro Hero 8 has changed a number of different things. Now, the most obvious change is the mounting system. So you can see for the first time ever, they've built what they're calling folding fingers into the bottom of the camera itself. And overall, I think that is a fantastic idea. I really do think that's fantastic. It's going to save a lot of time. It means that you can use this camera on a tripod or something and you don't have to put it into a case. You can just attach it. That is a really good thing. But you can see one little problem there. Now, you can see how that one's straight, that one's more at an angle, and I've been flicking it back and forward just to get an idea of what this is like. And I do find that that kind of happens a lot, where you're flicking it up and down and it kind of just does that. Now, again, this isn't a major problem. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but if it's positioned like that and you're trying to get the mount in, the screw isn't going to go all the way through. You have to make sure that it does that. Now, the reason I'm pointing that out is because say you are taking your camera on and off a mountain bike or something like that. This is where a fixed case and a fixed mounting bracket like this is going to be better, because you don't have to mess about that flicking up and down. Imagine you've got gloves on or something. This is just easier. Now, the most obvious response to that is, well, simply put this in a case. And that's what you can do. These fold away. So if you want, you can just put this in its own case, one which does have a bracket. You'll get the added protection, and you can just attach it to your mountain bike, to any mounting system that you're using. And yeah, so I think overall that's good. As I said, it's not perfect in that sometimes it doesn't go all the way up. Like that's a little bit bent, but it's better than not having it there. It really is better than not having it there. So it's hard to really criticize it for that, because at the end of the day, you can just put it in a case. But that being said, you do get a case with the GoPro Hero 7 Black. You probably noticed that in the unboxing, that previously you used to always get a case packaged up. Now you don't, which kind of makes sense because you don't have that. But it does mean that if you're someone that's going to go out mountain biking or doing anything where you think it could get damaged, then you're going to have to go out and buy this separately. So on to the design. We've got the GoPro Hero 8 here, GoPro Hero 7. Both of them are black versions, and there are quite a few design changes. Now, the most obvious one, apart from the mounting system, to me, is the camera lens. And look at that. This is the 8, this is the 7, and you can see that the lens is, yeah, it's a little bit more protruding in the older versions. The older version, it kind of stuck out a little bit more. It's a lot thinner now. Less of a footprint. You can see it there. It's a little bit more obvious there. See how it's kind of just a little bit, and then it goes up into the lens. Before it was like that. That's maybe a better angle, sorry. And yeah. Now what that does mean as well, if you've got a lot of accessories, means that if you've got something like a lens cap, the lens caps which worked in your previous versions will not work on this one. So you're going to have to go out and buy like a newer version of this. There will be an accessory out there that allows you to attach a lens cap if that is something that you like to use. Now the power button remains at the top, right hand side. So if you're right-handed, that's good. If you're left-handed, that's not so good. Previously, the power mode button was at the right-hand side, and this was the button that, and it is the button that you use to power it on. You hold it in to power it off, and you press the button to change modes from photo to camera to time lapse and all that, and you just keep pressing it in. They have moved that button to the other side. So previously you had the button over there. Now you've got it on the left. So record, start, stop, take a photograph, that remains at the top right. But if you're powering it on, previously it was the right hand side, now they've got it on the left hand side. Just looking at the front here as well, you can see the GoPro logo has been moved, the screen's in the same position. But here, I thought that was a speaker, but it's actually a microphone. That's a microphone, that is a microphone. Underneath, somewhere, yes, there, that's actually the speaker. So they've changed that a little bit as well. They've changed that a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of not a major problem. I don't think having the speaker down there is going to be too bad. But at the end of the day, you know, the audio from these things when you're listening back to something, it's never amazing. You're better transferring the files to something else using something like that. Get it onto your phone, get it onto your laptop, and hear it there with some good headphones. Now, there's one thing about this that I really don't like, and it is the battery cover. Now, the battery cover itself is good, but it's the fact that, okay, I'll explain. Previously, with the GoPro Hero 7 Black, you had two battery covers, right? So I've got this one off just now, and if I attach it back, I hadn't clipped it on. Right, so this is how it used to be. And there's two battery covers. You get one at the bottom, one at the left-hand side. Now, what I would say is that they've actually improved the battery cover. Previously, you've got the battery there, and it's not a funky blue battery like it is now. But previously, at the bottom here, you've got the memory card and you've got the battery. Both of them at the bottom. The side cover, this is the one that can be removed, and it can be removed because it allows you to charge. You can continually charge up and simply just take the battery cover off, which I did a lot. And this is something that they designed into the case itself. They've got a cutout here so that if you want, you can charge whilst you're recording, continually charge, and you can do put an HDMI out cable. So for example, I could continually charge this, I could put an HDMI out cable, and I could use this as a webcam through my PC. And yes, that was possible. And it was something I really liked about this because when I'm recording in the car, I normally try and keep it charged at all times. So if we're looking at this from the back of the camera, they've moved the power mode button from the right hand side to the left hand side, and the battery cover is now on the right instead of the bottom. And instead of having a battery cover, micro SD card slot and charging port there, they've got it all in one section. Now this is actually easier to use in my opinion. All you have to do is click that down, you'll see the red mark, and just pop it on. That's it. Goes back in fairly easily. And like before, this actually can be taken off very easily. Very, very good. One glaring omission, which might be obvious, is that there is no HDMI port. And the reason is that what they have done is released three different attachments, extra attachments: a light mod, a display mod which flips over a screen for vloggers, and a media mod which has a 3.5mm headphone jack, a microphone, a shotgun microphone, two cold shoe ports, and an HDMI port. So to put it simply, the HDMI out port is gone. To add it, you have to use an attachment. So yeah, that's basically what you have to deal with. So the battery cover here, put in the battery. When you put the battery in, sits quite flush. The micro SD card would just go in there, and the charging cable would go in there. Now you might notice the second problem that I have here. One of the things I love about this is that you can continually charge this when you're using it. To do that with this camera, I need to take this whole battery cover off. That is a problem. That's a major problem for me. I think that's a major step backwards, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. This was a really good system. Now, what I think they should have done was implement something that allowed you to get this on. Implement something that allowed you to perhaps put on like a partial battery cover. So there's the full battery cover. Why not give us a battery cover that perhaps stops there and leaves this part exposed? Now, I checked online. I'm hoping that there is something like that out there, but I can't see anything like that out there in any online shop, any accessories. I can't see anything like that. So what it means is that if I'm recording in the car, I want to continually charge, then I'm going to have to just take this whole cover off. That's just the way it is. That's just how it works. Now, that's a little bit annoying because if I am recording in a car, and that's one of the reasons why I would buy a GoPro, when you're continually recording, you're not only charging to power the device, you're also charging the battery. So it does seem quite flush. You know, as I said, it's not, you know, it seems okay. It's not like this is going to fall out. You do need to actually pull it. But if you go over a bump, I don't know, there's going to be a few situations where this could perhaps come out, and that's not good. But I just think, just from a protection point of view as well, I think it's better just having this kind of small part exposed and having it protected like that. So my guess, my hope is that perhaps there is a case that's going to come out which covers most of that there, protects it, and leaves the Type-C port connected. But losing the HDMI port, losing the ability to simply strip out this small charging port and leaving that there so that everything else is okay, to me, that is a step backwards. But it's one of those things, you know, I think whenever they make changes to a design, that the sacrifices that have to be made, you know, there's no doubt about it, sacrifices have to be made. They have to decide, okay, where can we move this if we add this? And, you know, there's different things that they have to do. So I'll quickly take this off. This is just the little front cover. I can get this off, get this screen protector thing off. So here we go. Oh, there is the screen. That's it there. Now, I actually have a screen protector from the older versions, which I might put on just now. And what I would say is that these screens are actually okay, you know, as far as scratches and that go. But if you're spending $300, $400, you can pick up a screen protector for, you know, just a few dollars, a few pounds. So it's perhaps something that you want to invest in. Just a quick note on micro SD cards as well. I've bought Extreme cards, mainly SanDisk Extreme cards in the past. I've used you know, a kind of wide variety of them, but the one that I've bought here for my girlfriend, because this is the GoPro Hero 8 is her camera. I bought it as a gift. I've bought the SanDisk Extreme A2. What I would say is that before you go out and buy a micro SD card, buy the one that fits your needs, but also check the compatibility list. So there's a compatibility micro SD card checklist thing on the GoPro website. And there is a list of micro SD cards which are suitable. Now, this one is fine for 4K recording and all that. If you're to use an older micro SD card, which might not be on that list, it will still work, but you might be restricted to 1080p or 1440p because the higher recording rates for 4K might be too much for some of these older cards. But for most of you, you might want to gravitate towards the better cards, the ones that can do 4K, so that you have the option of doing it. So at this point, I'm going to put on a screen protector, I'm going to put in the card, and then I'm going to turn it on, and that's obviously the GoPro Hero 7. I've picked up the wrong one. I'm going to put on a screen protector, I'm going to put in the micro SD card, and then we can have a look at the interface. So I have applied a GoPro Hero 7 screen protector to the back. It fits, but I've not did a very good job. It's not a perfect fit either. I'm not sure if it's just a slight difference here at the back. At the front, you can't use GoPro screen protectors for the 6 and 7, etc., because it is a different design, so it won't fit. So you're going to have to go out and buy something different. So let's power this on. And I have dimmed the lighting a little bit. I've changed the ISO of my camera just so that we can see the LCD screen a little bit better. Okay, so you should be able to see the screen okay. And this is, of course, touchscreen, legal stuff, whatever. GPS, I don't need that. Install the app. Right, so this is something that I would probably say most of you should do. If you're using the GoPro a lot, you should probably connect it to your phone. This is not going to be my camera. I'm not going to be using it. But I will say that in general, the GoPro app isn't as good as the remote. The remote itself can be a little bit kind of off and on, but I would say that the app can be a little bit temperamental, let's say that. You know, it starts and stops a lot, but you can skip the setup. Okay, so we need to complete the date and the time and all that now. And that's it. A very quick and easy setup. Now you can see that it's only at 20% right now. So what I will do is take the battery cover off, and I will charge the camera when we are looking at it. So without touching the back here, I just want to quickly show you the front here. You can see that it's defaulted to 1080p, 60 frames per second, wide angle. It's charging. If I take that away, it will show the battery life. You can see that it's low. And it's one of the things that I like about the GoPro is that it does show you the battery life right at the front there. It's very useful. The Sony camera here, this I would say is a much better action camera when it comes to audio. It's got a better built-in microphone generally. It's got a built-in mic port and all that. It's quite good, but you need to use a remote like a watch thing with the screen in order to see what's going on. With this, you can quickly see when you're recording what's happening, and you can see the amount of time that you have left. Now, of course, if you're recording at 4K, that might go down to like 3 hours or 2 hours or something. If you're recording at a lower resolution, it might go up to over 10 hours. It does depend on the capacity of the card. I've got a 128 gigabit card here. Depends on the capacity of the card, the resolution, and the frame rate. So we've got pretty much the same layout as before. It does look very, very similar. So here, if you push on that button, you can see adjust your settings, click on it, and they've changed this a little bit here because it used to be you'd slide it left and right. So standard, activity, slow-mo, and then looks like you can choose your settings like that as well. So you can see it there, standard 1080p, 60 frames per second. I can change it to super view. So these are the different angles: super view, wide, linear, narrow. So there's a lot of different ways here that you can change how it's being filmed. Now, hopefully you guys can see that. It's obviously easier to show you that outside. But you can see there is a difference there as far as the focal length. The focal length goes as far as what it looks like. So quite interesting that you've got all these different options. I'll keep it on wide just now. Hypersmooth is on, low light, zoom, clips. Pro Tune bitrate. I would want the bitrate to be a little bit higher so the quality is better. Shutter auto, EV, composition, white balance, ISO, minimum and maximum, sharpness, mics, auto. What else did I miss there? Color, raw audio, on-screen shortcuts. There's a lot of different options there. And you've got activity as well. slow-mo, and then you've got different settings there as well. Video, looping. Now, of course, I've got it all set at 1080p, 60 frames per second. You can change there to anything that you want. I'll just put on standard recording mode rather than activity or the slow motion. But remember, the side there, you've got that mode button. So you just have to push that, changes it to photo, push it once again, you go to time lapse. And every time you change to something, you know, different time lapse, video, photo, you'll get a different set of options down the bottom here. So you've got time warp, time lapse, night lapse. See all the different options there. Click on there, you can change the resolution and all that as well. Go up to 4K, 1440p, 2.7K, 4:3 aspect ratio. When you go to photos, yeah, it's a similar story. You can change to live burst, night mode. And you can change your settings there as well. So there's a lot of different options there as far as what lens you use, standard output, or you can save super photo. You know, you're going to have to spend some time tweaking each mode. What I would do is whenever you set a particular mode, once you've found the mode that you want, then go in and start tweaking things and seeing if you can get it the way that you want it. So back to video, and 1080p 60 is what I'm going to be using for this video, but you can go up to 4K there. Now, be aware that at 4K, you see that to play this back, your phone or computer must support HEVC. And be aware that at 4K and at the higher resolutions, certain features aren't always available. That's certainly been the case with the older models where, you know, some of the stabilization features or other features might not be there. Not sure if that's the case here, but it does look like from a frames per second point of view anyway. Well, actually you can see it there. So at 4K 60 frames per second, you can see that it's defaulted to the wide lens and the zoom is not an option anymore. So be aware of that. You know, if you drop down to 2.7K here, then you've got most of the options back there. At 4K 60 frames per second, a few of those options are going to disappear. But you can see that the resolution's there at 1080p anyway. 1080p, 2.7K, 1440p, and then you've got the 4:3 aspect ratio. But at 1080p as well, you've got the frame rate. If I click on it here, I'm sorry, I'll come back. To change it, click on it here. Click on it, super view. I want to change this part. Still, sometimes when you're clicking on it, it's not as responsive as you would like. Okay, this is what I was trying to show you. See at the bottom here, this is the different resolutions which are available. So at 1080p, I've got 240, 120, which is obviously slow motion, 60, which can be slowed down if you display it at 30 frames per second, 60, 30, and 24. 4K, you've only got 60, 30, or 24. 2.7K, it looks like, yeah, up to 120 frames per second at 2.7K. And at 1440p, 120 again. So the most options are at 1080p as far as recording goes, as far as slow motion and all that goes, and as far as the lens goes. When you go up to 4K, you're going to lose some of those options. That button, digital lens, change how much of the scene is captured in your shot. And you've got slow-mo. These are just kind of touch zoom. See that how that works. Is that actually working? There we go. Oh, sorry, I've not got it in the shot there. I lifted that up and went up to media. Click on that. I've always found the touch screen to be a little bit fidgety sometimes as far as, you know, responsiveness. It's not like using a mobile phone where everything is smooth and yeah. Sometimes it's a little bit fidgety as far as pushing the buttons and all that. So you can see at the top there, it's actually saying 5 hours now, which is bizarre because I've not, oh right, I changed the bit rate. So that's why I was wondering why that had changed there. I changed the bit rate from low to the higher mode, higher quality of footage, a higher bit rate, which means that the total recording time is going to drop down from the 7 hours down to about 5 hours or so. Now, if I record something just here, and then I put it up to myself, Then I can stop recording. Okay, so that's the first clip recorded, and now I can play it back. So you do that from the bottom. So yeah, that's the first clip recorded, and that's basically how it works. You know, you've got the media from the bottom if you want to play things back. Right or left, time-lapse video photo, or you can use the mode button. From this side, yeah, it's just the same video photo. That's how it worked in the last one as well. Now from the top, you get preferences. So if I click down here, you can see a lot of different options. You've got voice control your GoPro using simple voice commands. You've got beeps, whether you want them on or off. You've got quick capture, and then you can lock, screen lock, prevents accidental changes. So, you know, for example, if I'm messing about here, I would probably push the screen, maybe change something. You can lock that. This one is landscape lock. You know, that's so what that is referring to is that you can lock it so that it doesn't flip around. So for example, if I'm in the car and I place this camera upside down, GoPro automatically flips the screen and it knows that it's upside down and it records in the correct orientation. It doesn't, you know, record it upside down. So it's pretty good that, but you can lock that if you want. There's a grid there as well. Now, as far as voice commands go, there's a lot of different commands that you can do. Keep current language. In fact, keep current language. I actually wanted UK, but you can say things like GoPro capture and GoPro start recording, GoPro stop recording. Now, when I first got the GoPro Hero 6, so 2 versions before, when I got the GoPro Hero 6, I started using that a lot. I thought it was a cool feature, but what I found was that sometimes when I was using that feature, it would just stop recording because it would incorrectly hear my Scottish accent. It would think that I said stop, and yeah, it would stop recording. So I found that there was a lot of clips that were recorded that just stopped halfway through because of the voice command option. I'm hoping that they've improved that. Again, I've not tested it enough with this camera to say whether they have, but it's one reason why I just started turning it off. It is a cool feature though, you know, especially for me, if I'm driving in the car, I could, for example, just say GoPro start recording, GoPro stop recording, and then I don't have to lean over and push the button at the top. So it's quite a cool feature, and I'm sure some of you will really like it. So connections, wireless connections are off right now, but you can turn it on. You can connect to your phone, etc. Wi-Fi band, you can reset the connections. General, you've got the beep volume, turn it down to medium. Some of you might just want it off. You get quick capture, default mode is last used, or you can go to activity or standard. I think that was everything. Was there another mode there? I'll just double check that. Yeah, activity, standard, or slow-mo. So you, you can actually default to a lot of different things. Photo, live burst, night, time-lapse, night-lapse. I was not prepared for that amount of modes. I just assumed it would go to, you know, 1 or 2 modes there. Auto power off, you can change when it auto powers off. LEDs, anti-flicker, 60 or 50 hertz it will be. Video compression, any HEVC or H.264 plus HEVC. Just leave it on that for most people. You've got the time and the date. You've got the date format. Here in the UK, we would use day, month, year. And that is everything in general. Voice control. This is a list of all the commands that you get. English UK, I'll put it at. And you've got a list of the commands there. So you can see them there. GoPro capture, GoPro stop capture, GoPro start recording, GoPro take a photo, GoPro be amazing. Yeah, there's quite a lot of commands there. They're all pretty cool, pretty useful. Again, just be conscious of the fact that that can sometimes turn off. Just, this is something that happened in the past. Hopefully they've fixed it. Wake on voice, not applicable. Okay. Touchscreen. Landscape lock up, screensaver 1 minute, brightness 100%. You can adjust those if you want to save battery, etc. Regional, GPS off, language English. Right, okay, English is the language. Input, output, not applicable. I imagine that is when you attach the media modification thing where you have HDMI out and the headphone port. That's where that allows you to change some things. Under About, you've got GoPro updates. I would recommend updating this. Now, I did say earlier on about connecting this. Now, what I'm planning to do is when I connect this to my girlfriend's phone, I'll connect it up and then I will perform the latest update. And there will be an update. So that is something to do. Connect up to the GoPro app, connect it up. I've talked extensively about the GoPro app before, which is why I don't want to go into it again. But you can see it there, do more with your Hero 8. So what I would say is connect up the app, connect it up and download the latest updates. That is something that you should do. And before I go out, it is something I should really do. So what I'm going to do is just format the card. Goodbye, little short video. Always think it's good to format the card, you know, before you do any recording, just so that everything's okay. Reset presets, reset camera tips, factory reset. So what I'm going to quickly do before I start recording is I'm going to connect to the GoPro app. If it opens up, recognize my face. Okay, I'm going to connect to the GoPro Hero 8, the GoPro app. I'm going to see if there's any updates. I think this is something that I should do. I was hoping not to be able to connect it, but I think it is something that I should do. So I'm going to connect it up and I'll perform the updates and we'll see if there's anything to update. So let's go through the GoPro connection process. I'm going to connect to the GoPro app and not the smart remote, which I have here. Very useful. This is also the quick key, which is useful for transferring your files, but I'm going to go with the GoPro app. Install the GoPro app, leave your camera on and follow the on-screen instructions. Right, okay, finding your GoPro. Searching for camera, right. So this is necessary to update your GoPro, to install the latest updates. One of the reasons why I wasn't leaning towards doing that is because this is a little bit temperamental. The camera connection, you know, I always found that the camera went off, then the app didn't work. It's something that they've always had. I'll call this here. Yeah, it's a problem that they had certainly over the last few years. I'm just going to be very boring here and just call it GoPro Hero 8 Black. And I think I'll add a space there just for good measure. Right. Save name. So I've always found this app to be slow, to be temperamental. It's sluggish. It just, yeah. So this is why I had to do this. Update camera. There's always updates to do here, and you can see this one here. Updates Hypersmooth 2.0. So I'm on version 1.20. If you're watching this video a week from now, it might be 1.21. 6 months from now, it could be 1.4, 1.5. You do have to just continually check this every now and then to see if there are any updates. And it's something that I do need to do for my older GoPro Hero 7 as well. So, time to update. So the update has went through. It just takes a few minutes for it to transfer the files and then install the update. I now have the latest version of the firmware and I can now start recording. So I am in my room and I am recording with the GoPro Hero 8. I can't actually see what I'm recording, but I can see that I'm recording 1080p at 60 frames per second. I can see the battery is at 100%. Because I've charged it up now. And if I turn it around, I can see what you guys see. So my room, I wouldn't say it's low light right now. I mean, the blinds are closed, but I've got a lot of light here. It's picking up a lot of reflections from the LED lights. But it definitely looks a lot better than what the GoPro Hero 7 did look in this situation. So again, I'm just recording in wide. I'll try and take some clips later and show you what it looks like super wide and different things, but this is just an initial impression. And one thing to pay attention to is the audio. So right now I am just holding it with my hand because a lot of people will shoot with their hand, but what I'm going to do is put it onto the tripod because this gives me a little bit more flexibility. So I'm now using my selfie stick, so there should be less handling noise because my hand isn't all over the camera. The audio should be hopefully a little bit better. That is something that's always been a little bit of a problem with GoPros, in that when you put it into something that holds it, a case or anything else, when you put it into any kind of mount, sometimes a little bit of a rattle can really get emphasized, and yeah, the audio becomes unusable, which means the video becomes unusable. But hopefully it isn't too bad. As you can see, I can use a selfie stick here and get you guys far away. So what I'd like to do at this point is jump out to my car, and if I show you my messy desk, you can see what is going on. Over there you can see what I just recorded. I've been editing the clip and just seeing what the clips look like. But down here I've got some cables, I've got a mess of different things because of the unboxing. I've got one of my GoPro accessory kits there. But what I want to see here, and what I want to show you, apart from the dogs making noise in the background, is this little device. This camera, the GoPro Hero 8 Black, is going to go here, which allows me to show you footage in the car from the GoPro Hero 8 Black, from the Sony FDR-X3000 and the GoPro Hero 7 Black. All three cameras will be positioned in my car using this suction cup, and I will be primarily showing you this camera, and I'll be showing you the one that's here, if I can get the lens here. I'll be showing you this camera in the car, and that's what I want to show you, but I think it's good to show you a comparison with the GoPro Hero 7 Black and the Sony X3000 as well. So let's get to it. So as you can see, everyone, I'm in the car, and it's actually starting to get dark. It's November, it's only 20 to 5, but in the winter it gets dark very, very quickly in Scotland. Now I've got all three cameras all aligned here. Hopefully they're all around the same angle. It's quite hard to do that, obviously, because it's near impossible to try and get them all aligned properly, and even harder because they're all kind of bumping into each other and pushing each other out the way. But I've got all three cameras here, and hopefully that will give you a good comparison, and it will give you a benchmark to compare the GoPro Hero Black 8 against, because I could just go out and record with the GoPro Hero 8 Black, but I think it's good to compare it to the Hero Black 7 and the Sony FDR-X3000, which in my opinion, when it comes to recording in the car, it might not be as good as an action camera, but at least compared to the GoPro Hero 7, the audio quality was significantly better. So you're going to be able to see it now in low light here, because yeah, it's starting to get dark already, but there's still enough light here that you should be able to see everything. Now, there's the short clip that I recorded in the office. I quickly listened back to it. Now, I've not heard these clips yet, I've not did extensive tests, but my first initial impression was that the audio was better than GoPro Hero 7. I'll know better myself when I watch these clips later on, but first impressions are that it was a little bit better. So I finally got through the traffic lights there. I had to wait there for a good 5 or 10 minutes. So I've been talking about audio, and to me audio is very, very important. It's not usually a strong point of action cameras. But the other thing to focus on is stabilisation, and well, because of the time that I'm recording, low light. This is a good comparison to see how the GoPro Hero 8 Black handles low light and how it handles stabilisation. You know, they've got this new Hypersmooth 2.0 thing. It's apparently, you know, improving stabilisation a lot. But you do have to get through a lot of the marketing stuff sometimes. Sometimes they, you know, they overuse software to fix things such as stabilisation. Sometimes they don't do it right. So this will be a good test to see how it performs. Now I'm recording with and you're listening to the GoPro Hero 7 now, and yeah, this will give you a good comparison as to how last year's GoPro Hero Black camera handled low light. It is starting to get dark. Probably should have come out maybe 20 minutes earlier. I probably could have caught the light a little bit better, but it is giving you an opportunity to see what it's like in low light. And now I'm back to the Sony FDR-X3000. The Sony FDR-X3000 is one of my preferred action cameras. It really is one of the better ones in the market, and it's a little bit strange to me that a lot of YouTubers don't mention it, because certainly if you're recording in the car, it's one of the best options because it's got that built-in mic port, and because the default microphone is really, really good as well. But I'm going to go back to the GoPro Hero 8 now. So you're now listening to the GoPro Hero 8, and you're watching the GoPro Hero 8 as well. And again, pay attention to stabilisation, pay attention to noise. If I slow down for a second, there's a lot of traffic, you know, behind and in front of me, but if I just, should be able to hear that. Now obviously I don't have music on, I don't have any fans or nothing else on it. You will hear the engine of the car. I've tried to keep everything as quiet as possible, where possible, but you should be able to hear the kind of noise that you would hear if you went into your car to record from the GoPro Hero 8 Black. This is kind of what you would hear. This is kind of the noise levels that you would hear, as far as noise from the engine, noise from cars outside, and yeah, just how everything sounds. I actually think the car's a good place to record because of the acoustics of it, but not in the past. In the past, the GoPro range was not very good. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Compare these clips. Let me know what you think about them, and let me know if you think the GoPro Hero 8 Black is a camera that you would want to use in the car. So I've packed up now, I'm outside, it's a lot noisier, and I'm still recording 1080p in the wide mode, and this is what I was using when I was in the car. This is the wide option. Moving up, we've got the super view. Not sure why they don't call it super wide, but this is what GoPro are calling super view. The focal length is even wider. And it actually is picking up the sky and all that pretty well. It's quite nice. I must say it looks quite good. And now I'm in linear mode. This is basically what a normal camera would look like. You've not got the fisheye effect, and this is as close as you would get to a regular video shot. And I would say, generally speaking, this is, well, at least for regular shots, this is probably what you want rather than the super view, but it really is up to you. And finally we have narrow. This is the fourth option that's available. It's available in most modes except in 4K. This is the narrowest option that you have, and it's really different when compared to super view. There is a really big difference when you look at it, and of course it's getting darker. Every minute that I film is getting darker and darker, so you're getting an opportunity to see how the GoPro Hero 8 Black handles low light. So now I'm recording in linear mode, and what I'm hoping to show you here is, well, really just the stabilisation. I want to give you a better idea as to what the stabilisation is like. Obviously if you're running like that, it's going to come into effect a little bit more, and I might actually start running anyway because it's freezing, absolutely freezing out here, and I only have a little jumper on. But yeah, this is linear mode, and the good thing here is, although it's getting dark, there's a lot of lights here because of all the cars, all the noise, well, there's a lot of things going on here. It's quite a busy junction, so this will give you an idea as to what it's like in linear mode. I've got it on the selfie stick, so there's, you know, my finger's not over the lens like I did before. But linear mode is quite good. It was the one that I used a lot when I was using the GoPro Hero 7 Black. But The wide option is probably one of the better options for in the car because you're going to capture a lot more. Super view might be a good option for the car as well. But I'm liking all these additional modes. At the end of the day, even if you don't use these extra modes like super view and all that, it's always there when you need it. It's always there when you need it. So it is something to take into consideration. So the previous clips were recorded at night time. Obviously it was very low light. It's not the greatest of days actually, it's not the brightest, but yeah, it should be a little bit better now. The quality of the footage should be a little bit better because it's very grainy when you're recording at night time. But yes, in the daytime it is a little bit better. And yes, so I think that, you know, when it comes to low light, the GoPro still struggles. It's not its strong point, but during the daytime the GoPro, the 6, the 7 and the 8, they're all very good. But let's jump back in the car and we can see what it's like driving in the car during the daytime. So as you can see, I am back in the car, but we have daylight. It's now light. So you should be able to see what the GoPro Hero 8 Black can do. Still think that's a bit of a mouthful, the full term, GoPro Hero 8 Black. So yes, I'm recording in the car today, still a little bit dull, but we do have light. It's not like last night, and it's just one of those things. In low light, action cameras are always pretty bad. That is something that I think that you really just have to use in the daytime. They don't perform well at night time, they really don't. In my opinion, the footage at night time, once it starts getting really dark, is practically unusable. It's practically unusable. And you probably saw that in the previous clips where everything started to get a little bit grainy. It started to get a little bit, well, poor. I actually made it look like the resolution wasn't that good. It made it look like almost as if it dropped the quality of the. Let this lady in. Oh, she's going to cause, yeah, she's going to cause problems here. She's rolling down the hill. Better watch because she's not even looking where she's going now. See, sometimes you're better not even looking at the car, look at the person. She was panicking, she was rolling down the hill and going back up. The old lady didn't know what was happening. So yes, in the daytime, I think the GoPro Hero 8 performs really well. But I think most action cameras do. Now, I've looked back at the clips that I recorded, which were last night, and I don't want to influence your decision too much, because I want you guys to look at these clips, look at this footage, and then make a decision yourself. But so far, my opinion is that when it comes to stabilisation, I think the 8 is a little bit better than the 7. I think the overall video quality, I would put the GoPro Hero 8 above the 7 slightly above the Sony FDR-X3000. When it comes to audio quality, I think that the Sony is still the king. I still think the Sony is the only practical action camera. When it comes to just recording audio directly from the action camera, the Sony FDR-X3000 to me is the only one that still performs okay. For whatever reason, GoPro have not improved the microphone quality. It's just, you know, it's something that I don't see a lot of reviewers point out. I don't see them point out, but they've improved the mic slightly. I do think they have improved the microphone a little bit, but the fact that an action camera from 3-4 years ago is still outperforming it, it perhaps shows that there's a limitation of the design, just where the microphones are being placed. I'm not sure. I do know though, from a recording point of view, if I'm recording in the car, I would still use my, whatever it is now, 3 years old now, FDR-X3000. The Sony X3000 is still a better option in my opinion. Yes, the video quality isn't as good. Certainly at night time you notice the big difference there. The GoPro 7 and 8, you know, the video quality is slightly better. But as far as built-in microphones go, I do think that the Sony is better. Now, of course, I am recording this 1 month before the attachments come out. If the media mod comes out and that changes, you know, things a lot, and I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping that the shotgun mic does change things a lot. Then it might be a different story. But out of the box, if you're looking to record from your car, I would say that the Sony FDR-X3000 is a better option if you're not plugging in an external microphone. And even if you are plugging in an external microphone, the Sony has a built-in mic port, so it saves you having to spend another, you know, whatever it is on the new attachment. So yes, that's my overall opinion of it. It will make some difference though. See, just recording right now in the daylight, it makes such difference. I've looked at different, you know, the contrast between low light and light before. So let me know what you think, guys. You've now had a look at daytime footage, recording with the GoPro Hero 8 Black in the daytime against the GoPro Hero 7 Black, the Hero 7 Black and the FDR-X3000. Let me know what you think. Do you think it changes the story at night time compared to daytime? Do you notice a big difference when it comes to stabilisation? Let me know what you think. And now for a very quick water test. So what I'd like to try at this point is the stabilisation, the Hypersmooth 2.0, and just really give it, you know, move it around. I'm moving about the selfie stick, but the selfie stick that I've got the GoPro Hero 8 Black, and I'm just trying to see how this works. If I move it around, jump around, you know, we're outside, but I'm not next to the road anymore, so you're not going to hear a lot of cars driving by or anything. Let's try a little jog. So I've got this in linear mode at the moment. I don't have it in super view or wide or narrow. I've just got it on linear mode, and if I shake this up and down, move it about, this will give you an idea as to what happens when you really move it around. Jump up and down and move it around. Not that you would do this on purpose, but jumping up and down. What do you think? So, what I would like to do in this section is summarise my thoughts of the GoPro Hero 8 Black, and that is what I am recording with right now. That is what you're listening to. I'm recording with the GoPro Hero 8 Black, 1080p in linear mode. I wanted to give you a chance to hear what it's like in a situation like this if you're recording at home. So what I will say about the GoPro Hero 8 Black after using it for just a few days, and again, I've only used it for a few days, consider it a good first impressions, not a complete review. But I would say that the GoPro Hero 8 Black is a fantastic action camera, and it's probably the best action camera on the market. It's certainly the best action camera that I've tested, and it's probably the one that most people will gravitate to. So I do think that if you're looking to buy an action camera and you want a good one, at £380 in the UK, $400 in the USA, it really is the one that you should look at. Definitely look at some of the older GoPros and look at some of the cheaper models as well. But if you're looking for one of the best action cameras in the market, the GoPro Hero 8 Black is the one to get, without a doubt. Now, it is worth noting, it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. Photos, I only took a couple of photos. I think photos are okay, but it's not something I would criticise the GoPro for, or any action camera, because chances are the phone that's in your pocket will take better photos, and you're probably always going to have your phone with you. It's a nice little bonus to have, and when you're taking photos you can change the view as well, like narrow, linear, wide, etc. The touchscreen at the back, you know, it's the same in the GoPro Hero 7 here. It's okay, it does work okay. The problem is that the display that they use, the one that's implemented at the back of the GoPro, it's very, it's too sensitive sometimes, then other times it's not responsive enough. It's just not a very good touchscreen. So what happens is frequently you'll find yourself sliding and then it doesn't move, and then it'll go quickly. It's slow sometimes, other times you don't want to press it and then you accidentally press it, and you do have to be careful about that. There was one of the clips that I recorded yesterday and I nearly actually deleted it, and I would have went crazy if I did, because it took like half an hour to record. So you have to be careful with that touchscreen, and if you're recording, it probably makes sense to try and lock the screen, lock the options whenever you're recording. But there is a good argument as well. You know, the options in the Sony, kind of sluggish and all that, but you're less likely to cause problems with that using a kind of button system. I think they'll get it better over the next few years, though. I do think they'll get it better. So I do think if you're looking for an action camera, the GoPro Hero 8 is the Hero 8 Black is the one to probably go for right now. Certainly if your budget can stretch to 380, 400. If you've got the GoPro Hero 5, 6 or 7, I think if you've got the GoPro Hero 5 Black, I think that now's probably a good time to upgrade. I think there'll be a significant jump in performance going from the GoPro Hero 5 Black to the GoPro Hero 8 Black. If you're coming from the 6, it's maybe in the middle. I'd say that there will be an improvement, but maybe not as much as an improvement as you would like. Coming from the GoPro Hero 7 Black, there is a good argument that you could sell your 7 Black and then use the money to put it towards a GoPro Hero 8 Black. But generally speaking, I would say if you're coming from 2018's GoPro Hero 7 Black, I don't think there is enough to upgrade. I really don't think there is enough to upgrade. Now, as far as audio quality goes, as far as the microphone goes, there was a few times, and I think I said that during the video in the car, where I thought that the audio from the GoPro Hero 8 Black was better than the 7. I thought that the 8 sounded better than the 7. But when I listened to it again and then I compared some other clips, I suspect they've just got the same microphones. You know, if there is an improvement, it's like a 5-10% improvement. I really didn't notice a major improvement audio-wise. I really didn't. And I still think that if you're recording in the car, the Sony FDR-X3000 is the better option. Although saying that, in the camera test today, in the daytime when I was recording in the car, this seemed to have picked up my air conditioning more than the GoPro. There was a lot more rumbles in this one, but this was picking up the aircon. Without the aircon, this picks up the audio a little bit better. Of course, these things are subjective, but I do think that this is still the better option for the car because it's got the tripod thread, it's got a microphone port at the back built in. You don't have to mess about with any attachments. So I still think if you're looking to record in the car, and it's something that I would like to do, the Sony FDR-X3000 is still the best option. But the GoPro Hero 8, the video quality is so much better than the X3000, and it's better than the GoPro Hero 7 as well. Again, stabilisation, I thought the stabilisation was really, really good, better than the 7. But the reason I'm saying not to upgrade from the 7 is that, yes, the video quality is better. Yes, the stabilization is better than, you know, in the 8 compared to the 7. But it's not night and day. It's not night and day. There is an improvement. They have refined the product. They have improved it slightly. But unless you're using your GoPro all the time, like every single week, I would say that most people should really wait until next year or even the year after before they upgrade. You know, it's a reminder that every year tech companies are refining their products, they're tweaking their products, they're improving their products in small increments. And if you're coming from a product from last year, then you're not going to see a major improvement. It is a better product though, no doubt about it. If you want the best camera in the market, I would say go for the GoPro Hero 8. If you're coming from the 7 though, personally as someone who has the GoPro Hero 7 Black, there isn't a major jump forward. Microphones are the same, video quality and stabilization is slightly better, but all of these cameras are still terrible in low light. You saw that at nighttime. These cameras are practically unusable at nighttime. You really should use these in the daytime. And even with lighting here, you can say that it's not as good as when I'm outside in natural light. Now, audio is something that a lot of reviewers don't talk about, but it is something that is important to me. They haven't improved the microphones in the GoPro Hero 8 or from the 7, and they didn't change it from the 7 from the 6, not in a major way in my opinion. But they are bringing out this media mod that's coming out, and according to the website, it's coming out about £80 in the UK. It's probably $80 to $100 in the USA. This is going to add a built-in shotgun mic. It's going to add the very necessary 3.5mm headphone port, but it also comes with 2 cold shoe mounts as well. So if you're like me and you want to record in the car, or you just want to improve your audio, you really have to budget this into your purchase of the GoPro. The media mod will make the camera bigger, but it is a price worth paying to get that built-in microphone and to get the mic port to add an external microphone and a hot shoe mount. That, for me, would be one of the reasons to upgrade from the 7. If you want to use an external microphone and you don't want that ugly adapter, I think that the new GoPro media mod is a better option. And it's got the built-in microphone as well. So generally speaking, I would say for most people, the stabilization and the video quality in general, it's just a little bit more crisp. Everything's just a little bit better. If you're just going to use it like this, don't upgrade from the 7, I would say. But if you want to use that external microphone port, if you want to use the built-in shotgun mic, which is in the media mod, if you're happy to pay another $80 to $100 to get that, and you're happy for the device to be a little bit bigger, then you might want to upgrade. There's a lot of things I didn't test too much as well though, and I did a quick water test, but I don't really use action cameras in water if I'm honest. But GoPros are always fantastic in the water. They always are. They've always had, well, at least for the last 3 or 4 versions, it's been like 10 meters that it's waterproof to, water resistant to. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be any problems there. Overall, I would say that the GoPro Hero 8 Black is a fantastic camera. Is it worth the money? Well, it depends on your budget. What I would say is that I think that for the price, £380, $400 is a very good price for the GoPro Hero 8 Black. And it's worth remembering that 2 years ago, the GoPro Hero 6 was released at $500. So they've dropped the price last year and they've kept that price this year. I think the GoPro Hero 8 Black is a fantastic action camera. The video quality is really good. The stabilization is really good. The microphone quality, it's okay, but it is something that can be improved with an attachment. But if you can't stretch to that, you don't think you're going to use your action camera a lot, I would look out for an older GoPro, or even like a GoPro Hero 7 White or Silver, a GoPro Hero 7 Black over here. You can't disregard some of these Sony cameras as well and some of the other action cameras on the market. But without doubt, if you're looking for a good action camera, the GoPro Hero 8 Black should be at the top of your list. It really should be. It really should be the first one that you look at and then look at alternatives. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I do recognise it's been a very, very long video, but I didn't want to just do a quick 5-minute video that just summarised the information that was on the sales page. This whole video was for people who are looking to buy this and for people who are looking to upgrade. So I hope you found these tests useful. I realise that I've not did every single test. I realise that I've not shown every single feature. So I encourage you all to look at other video reviews, look at other written reviews, look at Amazon reviews, look at what other people are saying about this camera so that you can make an informed decision as to whether the GoPro Hero 8 Black is for you. If I take away this charging cable, spin you around here, I will just say thank you for watching, and until next time, from me and the GoPro Hero 8 Black, this one, I will speak to you all next time. Cheers.